Wagner,
Here.
President Bolfus.
Here. Okay, this is a public hearing. Manager Keener, do you want to take over on the discussion?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. So I'll read a brief statement kind of summarizing why we're having the public hearing. It says public notice is hereby given that the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois will hold a public hearing on the 9th day of November, 2020 at 6:45 or so. The hearing will be held in the Village Hall Board Chamber, second floor, located at 20 South Ardmore Avenue, Villa Park. The purpose of the hearing is as follows. The purpose is a proposal to sell bonds in the amount of $1,500,000 for the purpose of providing funds to pay debt service on the village's general obligation refunding bonds, also known as alternate revenue source Series 2020, and to finance capital projects for the village, namely capital expenditures for the purchase of equipment, including computer equipment, vehicles, utility vehicles, police squad cars and equipment, dump trucks, maintenance trucks, and cardiac monitors in and for the village, and for the payment of expenses incident thereto. In 2017, the village issued alternate revenue bonds to refund TIF 3 debt certificates as part of the strategy to address insufficient TIF 3 revenue. These alternate revenue bonds are to be refunded by rollover bonds issued each fall, which are then paid back using our non-home rule debt service extension base. The Bond Issue Notification Act requires a hearing before we issue those rollover bonds. Consideration of the sale of rollover bonds will be presented to the board on November 23rd, 2020. Thank you, Your Honor. You're muted, Your Honor.
Do we have anyone from the public who has any comments on this proposal? Any board members? Seeing none, having no comments, I guess then we can close the public hearing. So with that, we're all in favor of adjourning, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We're adjourned. Okay, now, seeing that we're all here and it's 7:02, we'll start the regular board meeting. Let me get my paperwork in the right order here a minute. Okay, this is November 9th, 2020 at 7 p.m. This is the regular village board meeting. And Clerk Konecki, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Salela? Trustee Cassone?
Here.
Trustee Murphy? Murphy? Unmute.
I'm here. I'm trying.
Trustee Patrick?
Here.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Here.
President Bolfus.
Here. Okay, we'll move on to public comments on agenda items. If anyone from the public has any comments on items 5 through 8A, does anyone out there, manager, have any comments on agenda items?
Your Honor, no one has signed up for comment on agenda items.
Anybody raising their hand they want? Okay. All right, then we'll move on to amendments to the agenda. Do any of the board members have any amendments to the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move down to the consent agenda. Item 5A is the minutes of the village board meeting held on October 26, 2020. And 5B is a bill listing for the weeks of October 26th and November 2nd, 2020, in a total of $1,700,291.21 for the consent agenda. Trustee Wagner?
I'd like to make that motion.
Second, Trustee Cassone?
I'll second that.
Okay, any questions or comments? Trustee Tucker?
I just have one question, and this would be probably related to Chief Lay. What's a vault compartment for the K9 vehicle?
So Where are you referring to, trustee?
A budget, on the budget thing, there's
okay.
a bolt compartment for the K9 vehicle. I was just curious what that is.
You said a boat, B-O-A-T?
Bolt.
Bolt. I have no idea. How much was this bolt?
Go, let Mayor Keener answer that question.
Mayor Keener, did you?
Please don't promote me, Your Honor. It's basically it's like a toolbox that you store equipment in for the K9 vehicle.
Oh, so it's one of those things that are on all the vehicles. It just happens to be the one for the K9 right now. Got it. Okay. It was like, okay, what is this for the K9 vehicle? I got it.
Okay, any other questions?
Nope.
Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
Trustee Tucker,
Yes.
Trustee Salella, Trustee Murphy,
Yes.
Trustee Kazone,
Yes.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Yes. Okay, with that, we'll move on to item 6A, which is the Community Pride Commission
He's here for
Halloween Decoration Awards. Manager Keener, who do we have out there for presenting the awards?
doesn't want to talk, but he's going to be called up.
Yep. She's stepping right to the podium now, Your Honor, and she'll have a PowerPoint presentation in a second.
Okay.
Hi everybody, my name is Tracy Gabriel, and tonight I'm here to present and talk about the Village of Villa Park Pride Commission. I have two topics for you. The first is what the Pride Commission activities, and the second is to present the annual Halloween decoration winners for our inaugural Scarecrow contest winners. The Pride Commission has several community contests throughout the year. As Villa Park is the Garden City, we have the Summer Landscaping Award. In the winter, we have the Winter and Holiday Decoration Award. That one's coming up, so hint, hint, get ready to decorate your yards. In the fall, we have the Halloween and Scarecrow Decoration Awards. We also host the Spirit Award and have a few family-friendly events like Paws on the Path, Sidewalk Chalk Party, and we hope to bring back in 2021 along with the spring sweep, and we're trying to have that in the spring as well. Want to join the fun of the Villa Park Pride Commission? We meet on the fourth Tuesday of the month at 5 p.m. in the Village Hall. Come join the commission, it's easy. Stop by the village office for an application, or you can print your own on the official website of Villa Park under the commission's page. Come and join us for a meeting or volunteer during one of our events.
Okay, now for why I'm here for tonight. It is to present to the homeowners the 2020 Halloween and Scarecrow Decoration Awards. I'm going to read the list of all 14 addresses that were submitted, all our honorable mentions, and announce the 4 winners. Submissions were accepted via our official Facebook page or sent into the village email address of pride@invillapark.com. Whether your yard and home was submitted or not, the Pride Commission would like to thank all of its residents who took time to decorate their yards and homes and share their Halloween spirit with all of the residents of Villa Park. Okay, so here we go. 14 West Killenworth, 104 South Myrtle, 114 West Central, 115 South Yale, 136 East Sunset, 152 East Division, 230 South Harvard, 324 West Jackson, 348 South Harvard, 354 North Villa, 450 West Hubbard, Harvard, 621 South Monterey, 645 West Sunset, and 723 North Villa. Usually we have the winners come join us here at the village meeting so we can give them a sign. But with the current environment, we did something a little different. Leslie and I presented the lawn signs yesterday. And with that, I would like to ask Trustee Tucker and Trustee Patrick, I'm gonna put you on the spot here. Can you give me a drum roll, please, for the 4 winners? I know you two can give me some drum roll. Come on.
All right, Cheryl, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Oh,
Oh, you did. Oh,
Like
Glenn, I
check
didn't get
case.
the hosting. That's okay. We're having technical difficulties tonight, so we will kind of delay here for a minute. The home located at 354 North Villa is the winner of the Scarecrow family. And as soon as I get my sharing ability, I'm going to go ahead and show you a little slide of the home. And here we go. Perfect. Thank you. Hold on. We all have technical difficulties this year, right? All right. Here's 354 North Villa. Joanna Swan, who was not home on Sunday. We took the picture and Leslie stood in the front on the stoop and we took the picture. And yes, that is a ghost pretending to be a scarecrow. So I think they got a little extra points for that one. So we'd like to thank Joanna for participating. She was excited and surprised that she was nominated for this award. So congratulations, Joanna. Now for the next decorations, we have 136 East Sunset, Mike and Jennifer. Mike and Jennifer take about 1.5 to 2 weeks to put up the decorations. Jennifer allows Mike to let his inner child come out. They've been doing this for about 11 years. It cost them about $2,500 for the decorations. And every year they have about 200 to 300 trick-or-treaters. But if you didn't get a chance to check out his Halloween decorations, we strongly recommend you do next year. But don't stop by on November 1st. Mike is very efficient and starts putting away all his Halloween decorations later that evening and is done by the morning. I want to remind the Villa Park Police that Mike runs over zombies, so they might want to go check out his home for little incidences. The next address that has one is 450 West Hubbard. John and his 2 sons, Anthony, Vinny, and their friend Vincent put up the decorations. It takes them about a week. They've been doing it for about 11 years, and they have about a $3,000 investment going on. Again, don't wait too long to see these decorations next year. It takes them for about 2 days to pack them up for the season. Just want to.
Tracy, could you go through the slides for us?
Oh, am I not showing them? Do you see them? I think they're there. Your screen sharing.
No, we just, oh, they're over on the side. Okay.
Okay. I don't know if I got that. I can see it on my end here. And then lastly, we have 104 South Myrtle. And yes, that is a townhome. And this townhome, Rosetta and their son put up the decorations. There's little pumpkins and a little scarecrow, and they also have a jungle gym for the kids. But what really caught our eye was this life-size witch reading a spell. Looks a little creepy, but she's at the front door to greet you. So I would watch out for that.
For some reason.
Glenn's helping us out here.
Could you try clicking on them? I show them on the side, but they don't come up into the main picture. There you go.
Okay, there we go. See the first one? So Villa with the scarecrow being with pretending to be a ghost, pretending to be a scarecrow there.
Yep.
And then this one, I wanted to warn everybody, Mike runs over zombies over here. He has a sign that says, "Welcome to Killville Park." So kill a park. So we might want to watch that name change going on there. And then witches and skeletons greet you at the front door. This submittal came through our Facebook page, so it's a 3D effect. So if you get a chance, go look at that one. It's pretty creepy. And then this is our last one, the townhome. A lot of space to deal with or to work with, but they got a life-size witch standing at the front door. And these are the grandkids and grandma that we presented the sign to on Sunday. Congratulations to everyone. And we will be back in January to present the winter and holiday decoration winners. We use the same process for nominations. So go to our Facebook page, or you can email us at prideinvillapark.com for more details. I want to thank the board for their time on the agenda and the opportunity to share the spirit of the holidays with the entire residents during this time. So thank you very much for your time, everybody, and congratulations to the winners.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thanks, Tracy.
Commission's time for judging. It has to be kind of hard. So just 4 or 5 winners. So I appreciate it. And thank you to all the homeowners who tried to and were successful in brightening up our village on this time with a little bit of COVID thing and the little down feeling sometimes. This was really kind of nice to see this at Halloween. We look forward to the Christmas decorations too. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we moved on to item number 7, which is an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, establishing temporary executive powers pursuant to Chapter 8, Article 3, Section 8-301 to 308 of the Village of Villa Park Municipal Code and 65 ILCS 5/11-1-6 of the Illinois Municipal Code and 20 ILCS 3305-11 of the Illinois Emergency Management Act. This ordinance extends the temporary executive powers contained in the ordinance number 4169, approved by the village board on October 26, 2020, until such time that the village board can reconvene in an open meeting. Do we have a motion for the ordinance? Trustee Kazone?
President, I'll make that motion.
Trustee Wagner?
I'll second the motion.
Any questions from the board? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
Trustee Tucker,
Yes.
Trustee Salella, Trustee Murphy,
Yes.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
Trustee Kazone,
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Yes. Trustee Sala, you're out there on the up there in the boardroom. Seeing that we don't have you here, could you possibly just go down to the podium and work off of that laptop over there? We want to see you and hear you, so I'll give you a minute. Okay, well, that ordinance passed. We'll move on to 7. There you go, Dave. 7B, which is an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing the sale by public auction of personal property and seized vehicles owned by the village. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Ryan. Items for consideration include a 1995 GMC P3500 truck and a 1999 Ford F350 truck. These vehicles have been replaced. Their aging condition prevents them from being in further service to the village's fleet. Proceeds from the sale of the vehicles and equipment will be placed into the equipment replacement fund and will be used to purchase additional equipment. Thank you, Ron.
Okay, do I have a motion for the ordinance? Trustee Wagner,
I'd like to make that motion.
do you have a second? Trustee Kazone, unmute yourself, please.
I will second that.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Salella, Trustee Murphy,
Yes.
Trustee Tucker,
Yes.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
Trustee Kazone,
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Yes, that passes, and we'll move on to 7C, ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, granting a variance to allow a pool in the front yard and a variance to allow a 6-foot tall fence in the front yard at 580 East Colberg Court. Andrew Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The owners of 580 East Colbert Court at the corner of Colbert Court and Wayside Drive would like to install an above-ground pool in their front yard surrounded by a 6-foot tall privacy fence. Village code allows up to a 3-foot privacy fence and up to a 4-foot open fence in the front yard. The petitioners therefore seek a variance to install a 15 by 30 above-grade pool east of the home in the front yard, as well as a second variation allowing a 6-foot fence in the front yard. Following a public hearing held on October 8, 2020, the Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously recommended approval of this request. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Dave, could you mute your mic, please? We're getting a little feedback, so, okay, good. And when you want to talk, you can just hold down, I believe, the space bar. Okay? All right, do we have a motion for the ordinance? Trustee Kazone,
President, I'll make that motion.
do you have a second? Trustee Wagner,
I'll second the motion.
any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Tucker?
I just want verification for everybody that this isn't actually in their front yard, even though that the specification says front yard, it's actually on the side of the house. It's not actually in the front of their house. So they don't go out to the front door and the fenced in yard and the swimming pool's in their front yard. It's actually the side of the house. The only thing that's actually the front of the property is the fence that goes from their house to the side of their house. I think it's kind of deceiving that they're saying it's the front of their house. It's not. The pool will actually be on the side of this residency.
Yeah, this was a lot that was subdivided some time ago, which faced Wayside. So with this change, with putting the new house up there, their front yard really became Colberg because that's the way they positioned the new house. But on the records, it's that Wayside is their front yard. So that's why they needed a variance. Sometimes I wonder, would it be easier just to change the address to Colberg rather than to Wayside? But this will solve the problem for them to put it on what's now the side yard. So, anything else, Trustee Tucker? Okay. Trustee Murphy, do you have anything?
Nope, it was same thing.
Okay. So we'll wait a minute to get these pictures. There we go. Okay. Now we lost Trustee Wagner. There he's back. Okay. Yes, Trustee Wagner.
You have a question. What is the setback that pool has to be from the property line?
You know, I don't know. Is
Consuelo, could she answer that question?
maybe, here she comes.
Good evening, everyone. The required setback for the pool from the side lot line, which is to the north, is at least 5 feet away from the property line.
5 feet. Okay. Thank you. That's all I had.
Anyone else have any questions? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Salella,
Yes.
Trustee Tucker,
Yes.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
Trustee Murphy,
Yes.
Trustee Kazone,
Yes.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Yes. That passes, and with that, we'll move on to number 7D, which is an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, granting a variation to allow for a tent-covered outdoor seating area during the winter months, November 1st through April 30th at 324 East Central Boulevard. Jack Kozar, petitioner. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The petitioner, Jack Kozar, seeks approval of 3 variations for the business known as Fuel and Creme, which is a bar and ice cream stand. This ordinance would allow the business to seat customers in a temporary tent structure on the property between the months of November and April, which is currently prohibited by village code. The Planning and Zoning Commission voted in opposition of this variance. The petitioner indicates that the variance is necessary for Fuel and Creme to continue to thrive and grow as a business. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Do we have a motion for the ordinance?
Make that motion.
Okay, Dave Ciela, do we have a second?
I'll second that, Mr. President.
Okay. Okay, so any discussion? Trustee,
First of all, what are we making the variance on? Because there's 5 different articles in there that you would have to variance to do this. And the tent is not the variance.
this is for a variance for the tent.
Right. The tent is not the variance though.
The tent-
If the tent is a variance, then it would be part of that ordinance of 4036, which is line A, which says the tent can only be temporarily covered using weather permitting. The variance he's asking for is for him to have seating, outdoor seating. So there's 4 speculations in that we would have to put a variance on each one of them. There is not one variance in this. So the best thing to do would be to fix it, the ordinance about tents.
Okay, I'm not following you exactly, because what we have before us is the tent, the rooftop seating, and that music, that's a different item that we're not addressing here tonight.
Understand.
There were a number of variances that were requested, and this is just one of them.
I got that. But what variance are we varying? What line is the variance he wants? Because the tent is not a variance in that section.
Okay, and you're referring to section what and from where?
I'm referring to, he requested a variance on 611-2, and he's asking for the variance for part G, which has to do with the seating of entertainment, has nothing to do with the tent.
Part G of what?
Part G of 611-2.
You got me on that, so.
Okay, if you look with the different variances on there are several in that section. So he, according to the paper we got, the ordinance code, which is code 4036, 611-2 is permitting use for the time frame he wants. And that would be line 12 on the speculation under G. He has already got part H, that was the storage unit under that same ordinance.
I'm not finding what you're referring to.
Okay. Have you've got the ordinance up, I take it. If you pull up the ordinance, which he's talking about, which is Article 611-2, it has A through H.
I don't have 611-2 that you're referring to here. So,
That's the ordinance that we're temporarily looking for the variance on.
well, I can't look it up on my computer because I'm using my computer right here. So, Consuela, do you have anything on that?
So I believe trustee Tucker might be referring to the code language under section 6.11.28 of the zoning ordinance versus the ordinance. The ordinance itself does not include provisions that are found in the code. So just to clarify, what the zoning code does allow for is for temporary structures that would be allowed for the time period of March 1st through November 30th. That's for outdoor seating area. It does not include a tent. What the petitioners here asking for is for a temporary tent to be allowed for the months of November 1st to April 30th. And that would be a tent covered outdoor seating area that's before you for consideration tonight.
And where does that fall?
So what we have in our zoning code is a restriction for outdoor dining area, right? And it does limit the time period. Regarding the tent itself, it's meant to be a temporary tent that does not allow for the duration of the period that the petitioner is looking to have the tent for.
Correct. And under that guideline, that would be A, under that ordinance.
Correct. Number one, you mean?
Well, 1A, whatever, mine
Yeah.
is.
Number one of that code
Right.
language does say that it must be open to the sky. The petitioner is asking to have a tent for that period of time.
You're speaking under the title G. I'm speaking under that ordinance. 611-2 has A through H. A is the one that speaks of a tent in that ordinance.
But there's no limitation on A.
I'm sorry.
There's no time limitation on A. That's what Consuela is getting to. A just says a temporary covering used for weather protection of goods because of emergency situations. That's not what we're dealing with. We're dealing here with, and there is no, these are permitted uses, so that this variation, if you allow it, will make it a permitted use. I'm trying to find the exact one. I understand what you're saying.
He's requesting for the time frame to change. It doesn't speak anything of that tent. The tent is spoke of earlier in that ordinance, which means if we are making a variance, we would have to make a variance on 2 items, not 1. So instead, I would, petition that we need to set up an ordinance for that tent so that we have something set up.
We can do it in the same ordinance. You're saying that what we should list, we've listed all 611-2 period, so that everything is incorporated. That's the way Consuela did it. But what you're saying, and I'm not arguing, is that it should be a variation from G1, because it's not open from the sky, outdoor seating area, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, we'd have to make a variance on 1. We'd also have to make a variance on 12, according to mine, because that would be the occupancy permitted to require open seating area, which he's requesting.
Okay.
From November to April. April 30th.
Right.
So that we would have to make a variance on 12.
Okay.
We'd have to make a variance on 1. And we'd also, at this point, and we'd also have to make a variance on 5 because his tent, according to this, is an obstruction to the entrance of his building and an exit to it.
Okay. The fact that what you have presented to you, I mean, we can go forward. Am I being disruptive, President?
Go right ahead.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
So that you point out, I mean, the references to the entire section. So what you have is not correct. But we had talked earlier today that you'll see on the easement, where is it, 1 or 2? And so my suggestion to the village board is we continue to answer any questions and that we be given the opportunity to write the ordinance with specificity as to the size of the tent, exactly what you're saying in location, specific times, etc. And then your direction to rewrite the ordinance, table it for now, rewrite it as you may direct, and we will bring it back to you at the next meeting with specific requirements. One of the questions that I had, and maybe Consuela, on the plat of survey, there's a 1 and a 2. Were we supposed to choose where it goes?
The petitioner has indicated those as possible locations for the tent. He did not specify either or.
Well, maybe the village board wants to specify so we can redo the ordinance to include that specification. The other question that came up was the size of the tent. Maybe we should designate the size of the tent so that what you approve is what you get. No more. You can get less, but no more. So with that, I'll be silent. Give us some direction. We will redraft this with that kind of specificity. In the meantime, it's understood that whatever tent he has, it can stay until we get this pinpoint to precise requirements.
Yeah, to tie on to what Attorney Orr said, I would like to know where he wants to put the tent on the property. I have number 1 and 2 on the plat of survey that I guess he supplied to us, but I'd like to know, and that he's just going to have one tent, but where he's going to put it and what size the tent will be. Okay, so Trustee Wagner.
I likewise have questions about the. I feel favorable towards his variance, and I believe this is in fact a variance because he's asking for a tent until from November through April. But as you stated, where is the tent going to be? It's my understanding that the tent that he had erected over the winter is different from the tent he wants to erect now. I'd like to know specifics about the tent. Is that tent fire rated? What is the size of the tent, et cetera? And of course, as you stated, the exact location. I'd like to have that information before I vote on this. And that's all I have.
Or
Does the village board have a preference on the location?
I would prefer the one out the side, not coming out from.
Number 2.
Right, number 2, yes. Due to the fact that would solve a problem of the noise concern that the residents have on Myrtle. If the tent was more inside his property, that would be less an eyesore to the people that live on Myrtle. And the fact that it would not be right there by the residency. It would be more on his property.
well, then I think you're referring to number 1. Number 2 on this plat is along where he has it right now, along Myrtle. The other one is in between Fuel and Cream.
Correct. I was asking for one then.
Okay.
The one between his 2 buildings was what I was prefacing, because that would solve the problem of a lot of the people on Myrtle that do not like that tent because they feel it's an eyesore off their property and they don't want to look at it. And they also feel it might be a noise concern if he's going to pipe entertainment into it, which will come later to us on that variance.
Anybody else have any preferences or any changes, stipulations, Trustee Wagner?
I'd like to ask the petitioner where he'd like it. I mean, I think it makes more sense directly south of Fuel, but that's just my thought, because the main entrance is from the east into Fuel. So I'd like to get the petitioners in on that as well. That wherever the tent's going to be, it's going to be on his property. It's not going to be off his property. So
Is the petitioner in the boardroom? He is? Well, maybe he can answer that question. There you go.
All right. So you can hear me only when I hold it down, right?
That's correct.
Got it. So the two locations were for planning and zoning and for you to look at. We would prefer to have it in the southwest corner where it currently is right now. It allows those trifold doors to be open for heat to come into the tent. It's a nice fit right there. I think, I'm trying to think of what the other question on that was.
It was just weird.
I think Bob had asked about fire rating. There was submitted to the village, the fire rating from the manufacturer. I don't know if that didn't get into your packet. I believe it was the fire chief also came out and inspected it. It is fire rated. It is wind rated. It's a fine quality tent that I had previously showed to Patrick Grill prior to even purchasing it for his blessing before it was even purchased. The building inspector has also been out and viewed the tent, and all that should have been made available to you. I know.
Are you talking about the tent you have up there now or the one you had up there prior to?
It is the same tent. There's no difference.
Well,
the tent that I came before you, the tent that I originally approached Patrick Grill, and I said, this is the tent we would like to purchase, and this is where we would like to put it on our property, and this is when we would like to have it for. And I showed him all the specs of it and said, if this is okay, I would like to order it and put this tent up. To which he said, yes, go ahead and do it. I put up the tent. Then he came back and said, you need a permit for this. And then
okay,
I applied for the permit, and then he said, it doesn't fit into the zoning. You're going to have to go get a variance.
okay.
This is the exact same tent that I was before you in January that is up right now. Nothing has changed.
I remember a tent that had more of canvas sides on it than the one now are plastic sides. Are they interchangeable?
Perhaps the best I can think is that you were misremembering. It was when it rained over the summer, but we're not talking about summer. I put up a temporary tent just while it rained, which is all right as a temporary tent. Goes up in 5 minutes, comes down in 5 minutes.
Okay, well, I think that go back.
But it doesn't have sides.
Let's go back to Trustee Wagner's question. He wants to have some information a little clearer on what this tent is going to look like. So we can get that too. So we know what we're voting on. So, and it is a 20 by 20 tent?
I believe that is the measurements. I submitted all the manufacturer specs.
That's what I have here.
20 by 20.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have any questions? Trustee Kazone.
Yeah, it's just a statement. I'm okay with either location, but like Mr. Kozar said, I think it's at right now is kind of a better fit for that site. It's an extension off of Fuel's building. The heat can radiate in between the two areas. So I'm okay with either one, but if he prefers it at where location number 2, I'm okay with that.
I don't have any problem with it on the south side of the Fuel building too. But we do have a little disagreement in that with the board members apparently. So anyone else? Trustee Murphy.
Yes, I'd like to make a few comments if I could, please. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay. Just a few things with reference. We've been provided a significant amount of documentation on this issue to the tune of hundreds of pages. So we've all, I believe, I know I can speak for myself in saying I've gone through it in pretty significant detail. I have no problem with the tent, and I have no problem with either of the two locations should you choose to put it in one of the two that you've documented. The one that I will make is our COVID numbers are rising significantly. I will not be the least bit surprised to have President Bolthus suggest that we extend the tent regulations that I believe are currently expiring in December all the way through the end of March potentially of next year. So I'm not anticipating any problem right now unless anyone else in the room can tell me there will be one with that tent staying up between now and the end of next March. I will also mention that I've gone through in detail the planning and zoning notes from the September meeting, and the interpretation that I read into the notes from that meeting were perhaps debating whether the property qualified for a variance, but they were not necessarily referencing specificity about the tent. It was more whether or not the property qualified for a variance, and when the vote was done and they voted no, my perception was they were voting no on the variance regardless of the tent. So I felt that was somewhat misinterpreted, that they were voting no on the tent. To me, they were voting no on the fact that the property qualified for a variance. Now, how we determine as a board to document this, whether it's a variance with contingencies or a change in the ordinance, I don't have any problem with either, and we can determine as a team what direction to take. In the meantime, I don't perceive that the ordinance as it's written in our packet is documented the way that we would like to see it. So I would like to make a motion that we table the vote on this and continue to pursue Attorney Orr's direction and President Bolthus.
do you have you're making a motion to table?
I would like to make a motion to table the vote on this.
Okay, do we have?
Don't take a second.
Wait,
Don't take a
Please
second
hold.
yet.
Please hold.
go ahead.
Thank you. So that we understand before you table it.
All right,
We have, thank you, Trustee Tucker, the specific variations. We have the size of the tent, and I'm assuming that Trustee Wagner, knowing that the fire rating, whatever, will be available to you, that it meets it. So then the question comes, when we bring this ordinance back with these specifications, do we do one or two location? Well, I've counted 3 of you saying 2 was good. President Bolthus, Nick Cazone, Trustee Murphy.
anybody else have any opinion? Like I said, I'm okay.
I need a 4.
We need a 4.
I'd like to make that recommendation.
Okay,
2 and Trustee Patrick.
you got your hands up, Patrick?
Okay, so the majority is, so the specificity will be the variations, as you have pointed out, Trustee Tucker, size of the tent, 20 by 20, and the location being shown as number 2 on the survey. And we will bring that back to the next meeting so that it will have what you need. Not, yes, go ahead.
Trustee Wagner.
So there was a letter from the fire chief in there, in the packet we got, but I would like, just for our peace of mind, that we have maybe the specifics. Can we get that written into that ordinance?
That's a bit of detail. Let me get it and maybe we'll append it as an exhibit to the ordinance. That may do it, if that would be satisfactory. So that would be another specification. Let me write it down. Exhibit as to fire standards. Okay.
Right. We can attach a picture to that exhibit or something too, so.
Okay, so now you can take your second, because a motion to table cannot be discussed.
Okay. We were still discussing. Trustee Tucker.
Okay, I have a general question to ask on this. Now we're talking, as we're talking the tent, which is what the ordinance is now changing to, is an ordinance for tents. To allow an ordinance instead of variation, we're putting an ordinance in for a tent. My
No, it's a variation from what our ordinance says now that says a tent must be open to the sky. So it's still a variation. You pointed out two. That's one. Outdoor seating is the two.
There's three, there.
And the
five
timing.
Variance too, because he'd be blocking the building entrance with that tent where he's putting it at location.
I disagree that I'm blocking the,
Yeah.
there is an entrance on the east side of that property. That is the main entrance.
Right.
Okay, but you're stating that the reason you want the tent on the south end is because of the heat thing. If there's an entrance on the east end, why can't it be heated by the east end part then? If
It's not as big, trustee. It's a smaller
There's
entrance.
two trifold doors with large heated curtains that circulate fresh air and heat that can heat that tent. The air curtains are located within the building, have been permitted, and are perfect for that location. And that side, which is the south side, is not considered an entrance or an exit. In that sense, the main entrance is on the east side.
I disagree with you that that's part of an entrance or a building entrance to that building of fuel. That's an entrance. If that tent wasn't there, people would enter through that entrance.
Not if the
They're
doors are
entering
closed.
from your tent through the entrance coming from the south.
Respectfully, I disagree. It is not an entrance.
Yeah, that may be true during the summer when the doors are open, but during the winter, those doors are closed. So the entrance on the east side is where everybody comes in and out. And the only time that those doors are open is in nice weather, so to get air circulating inside the building itself. So I agree with Mr. Kozar on that. The east entrance is going to be your most used entrance and exit. And it's just supplemental entrance is only in the weather. Because if the tent wasn't there right now, obviously this week was different, but at the end of the week, those doors wouldn't be open.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Kozar and Nick too. The main entrance is on the east side.
It just says interfere with the use of the building entrance, exit, or pedestrian walkway.
Well, I don't think it would. So it's my opinion. So.
My other question is for Hella on this is with the tent, saying the reason he's putting the tent up is he's trying to extend his building or bar for indoor seating from November to April 30th. What constitutes indoor seating?
It would have to be an actually all enclosed. That's the way I would interpret it. It would all have to be enclosed. Where this is, he can open the sides of it to allow for circulation. So it's not a permanent structure, but there is openings that can be opened on the sides.
But using it in the wintertime from the period from November 1st to April 30th, it would be an all enclosed area. You would not be opening it.
Interesting.
So that would be a question on what is considered indoor inside seating. I mean, I'm not questioning the tent. I'm just questioning that's a variance on here. There's a couple variances, and I want to make sure when we put the tent in that we cover all the different variances.
Okay.
I would argue that indoor seating is what I have occupancy for the building itself. That would be indoor seating.
I'm asking for the definition of what indoor seating is. And I'm not asking it from you, Jeff.
So you want to know what the legal definition of?
I want to know what the definition of indoor seating is.
Indoor seating would be in the building. It's considered in terms of all of the regulations, and Consuela's nodding her head too. That would be in the building. I cannot disagree with that. With regard to the outdoor seating, the tent, in order to meet the COVID standards, two sides have to be up. Which is why if you have the heat coming in from the building, is that my understanding? So
Yeah.
allow you to continue to have seating through the winter because there will be a heating mechanism.
That's correct. Yes.
So the outdoor seating is the tent seating, which if the sides are up, he can continue to operate despite any COVID limitations. And when COVID limitations end soon, please God, then it's outdoor seating, up or down.
Anything else, Trustee Tucker?
Yes, I'm still have the variance on 12. Is that going to go into that seating? That would be the occupancy permitting is required to the opening of an outdoor seating area. The occupancy permit is variance from March 1st to November 30th. Now, we would have to give a variance on that if we allow the tent to stay there.
That's number 12, as you correctly pointed out, would be the variance to allow him to have it from November 30th through March 1st again.
So we're doing a variance on 1, which would be the outdoor seating part, which you must have a sky and thing.
1, 5, and 12.
12 with this tent, plus the addition of what size tent and what tent we're going to allow.
Okay, so the changes are going to be variances on 611-2G 1, 5, and 12, tent 20 by 20, location number 2, and an exhibit with the fire standards as provided by the manufacturer. I think that covers everything. Do you agree, Consuela, that covers everything?
I agree. That's what I've been noting as the changes that need to be done to the ordinance to address Trustee Tucker's comments.
So then
It's
now
just
you can take your
clarifying in the ordinance.
Okay. And one more question. A would not come in effect on here because that's just a temporary.
Agreed.
Right,
Agreed.
A's not in
Agreed.
effect on it because that's
Agreed.
just for a temporary emergency use.
Agreed.
So all our variance with the tent would be under G 1, 5, 12. Okay,
I've memorized it now, thank you.
you're welcome.
I think one of the other things we have to do, we really have to look at that ordinance to see if we should make some changes in that ordinance, because there'll be other people coming back wanting tents possibly somewhere in the village. That takes amount of time, probably months. We have to have like a committee and opportunity for the public to participate and everybody to say their piece. There's a number of items in this area that could use an ordinance change, just the tents and the storage containers, all those things. So Consuela, we'll have to talk about that somewhere down the line. So then we wouldn't be here, so.
Well, that's what I thought we were doing was changing the ordinance or making an ordinance that included tents, but we're not right now.
No.
Okay.
I think the planning and zoning chairman was somewhat correct that this really is an ordinance issue, not so much a variance issue, but we're trying to accommodate the business owner so he can have a tent if possible. So
I understand, but right now with COVID, he's allowed to have that tent anyway. So it'd be something we could put in the process right now for that ordinance of a tent. I'm getting an ordinance started right now for the tent instead of piecemealing it right here for this variance would be to start in the process of making an ordinance for a tent instead.
Right. So, okay, Trustee Wagner had his hand up.
I think we also need to clarify the ordinance with regards to outdoor entertainment as well.
Yeah. So that's another thing. Okay, so we have a motion to table. Do we have a second? Trustee Wagner, second? Okay.
I'll second the motion.
All right. So then we'll have a vote on the motion to table. No, right?
Can we have it to be a motion to table to the next regular meeting of the village board so that we won't have to have a motion to remove it from the table? It'll just be on the agenda. So it's a motion to table to the specific date of the next board meeting.
Can you get all that done by then?
Yes. Can have it done for you tomorrow.
Okay, table till November 23rd.
Thank you.
Okay. So, okay, so we got a motion, we got a second, we need a roll call.
Okay, trustee Kazone,
Yes.
trustee Tucker,
Yes.
trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Salella,
Yes.
trustee Murphy,
Yes.
trustee Wagner,
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Yes. This was just about as confusing as the planning and zoning minutes I was reading, so. Okay, so that's tabled. We'll be back on the 23rd with that. Okay, we move on to number 7E, which is an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a contract for the purchase and sale agreement for 325 East North Avenue. Manager Keenan.
Thank you, Your Honor. The adjacent property owner to the east expressed interest in acquiring the village-owned property located at 325 East North Avenue. After appraisal and negotiation, an offer was made to purchase the property from the village for $335,000. If approved, the closing would occur no later than 30 days after the expiration of the due diligence period. This resolution approves a purchase and sale agreement between the Village of Villa Park and Ali Properties Melrose Park LLC in a total amount of $335,000. Thank you, Your Honor.
And seeing that this is a sale of a piece of property, we're going to need 5 votes affirmative to do that sale. So we have a motion for the ordinance. Trustee Wagner,
I'd like to make that motion.
we have a second. Trustee Kazone.
I'll second that.
Thank you. And Attorney Orr had her hand up.
We have a 30-day due diligence period, which we don't expect, but there is a provision that they can extend it for another 30 days, but it's a maximum of 60, which is something I highly recommend. It's a very short due diligence period for a commercial piece of property. And that's probably because it's the adjacent property owner. Those are good terms.
Okay. Do we have any questions from the board? Trustee Murphy?
I would just like to make a comment that personally, my personal perspective would be, I would like to see the property continued to be marketed. However, in consultation with real estate professionals based on the current market conditions and the anticipated market conditions, very near future, the direction that I'm getting from the business professionals is recommendation to accept the offer.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Trustee Tucker.
I want to know, how was this marketed? Because the letter of the thing, from the look of the information we received, there was no real estate agent involved in it because they didn't receive a commission or anything else. So how was this property marketed?
Manager Keener.
4 to 6 months.
Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think Patrick Burke would like to address that.
Good evening. Yes, it's been listed on our website on our available sites page since we moved out.
So basically, all it's been marketed on is the village website. It hasn't actually been marketed by real estate agent or anything else to try to sell it another way.
Correct.
So when you put a property up there, you're expecting people to go on the website hoping to look for property from a village site?
Yes, that's the function of our available sites webpage, to list all available sites and buildings in Villa Park.
Well, as a whole, I wouldn't think that's a good way to sell property. I mean, with all the real estate agencies we have in here, 4 to 6 months on trying to market something doesn't seem like an efficient way to do it, but understandable how we do for village property.
If we did use a broker, there would be a commission involved, and we'd be paying that commission now. And, right now, since we didn't use one, there's no commission going to be paid on this transaction.
Understandable, but is that efficient way of selling our property is my, it didn't seem like it's a very efficient way of doing it. That's all.
Okay.
The appraised value came in at $350,000. And, we settled at $335,000. So if you take into a commission, if we got the appraised value, we would then be paying a commission to a broker. I don't think we're that far off.
Any other questions? Trustee Murphy.
I just have one comment and request that if in fact it does get voted through and we do sell the property, that economic development would continue to work if possible with the new owner in an effort to put a viable business operation into that facility.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Salella,
Yes.
trustee Murphy,
Yes.
trustee Tucker,
I'm voting yes under duress because I agree with Trustee Murphy. If we hang on to the property with the way COVID's going, it may not sell and we will lose money off of it. For
Okay.
Yes, I am voting yes.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
trustee Kazone,
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Yes. If that passes, and we will move on to item 8A, which is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, estimating the tax levy for 2020 in compliance with the Truth in Taxation Law. Manager Keenan.
Thank you, Your Honor. The tax levy process begins with the estimating resolution will be considered for adoption and filed in December. The village's tax cap, so the majority of the levy can increase by the lesser of the Consumer Price Index, CPI, which is 2.3% this levy year, or 5%. This resolution estimates an overall increase to the village and library tax levies of 11% after all abatements. The final levy amounts may be lowered by DuPage County in accordance with tax cap laws. Thank you, Your Honor.
We have a motion for the resolution. Trustee Kazone.
President, I'll make that motion.
We have a second. Trustee. Dave.
Yes, I'll make a second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Murphy,
Yes.
trustee Kazone,
Yes.
trustee Tucker,
Yes.
trustee Wagner,
Yes.
trustee Salella,
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, that passes, and with that, we'll move to public comments on agenda items. Manager Keener, there.
Yes, President Bolfus, Kelly Smith is here for
Thank
next agenda.
Hi.
Kelly Smith, 137 North Charles. I think this is our third meeting. We've been here to discuss Charles Avenue street project. And I'm here to request written information and confirmation to the residents of Charles Avenue of why our project was deferred, what the priority list is, and what the status is. Right now, the neighbors are here and we're communicating amongst ourselves on assumptions. And I think for transparency, and you have the answers, is that you provide it in a written form, an update to the resident, since we've never been told what was happening. We find out when we come to a meeting, which I think is unacceptable, that we have to come here to ask the question. So my understanding is there's no money. Well, explain to us why there's not money when it was laid out. and the priorities of other streets being done rather than Charles Avenue if there's no money. In a written form to all the residents is my request.
Okay, we'll see what we can get out. Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, Robert Smith is here.
Okay.
Good evening. Robert Smith, 137 North Charles Avenue. First of all, you know, I want to, we're taking a moment to recognize Sid Berg, his passing at the last meeting. My wife and I have known Sid for probably 8-9 years through the VFW, and I have to say, he was truly an ambassador, not just for VFW, but for the whole town of Villa Park. So I thank the board for recognizing his service to this community. Also at that meeting, I did a request. I once again requested that the village commit through the budget process to prioritize the reconstruction of North Charles Avenue in the next fiscal year. At that meeting, I was told twice that promises can't be made. That's not true. Though I'd like to use the word lie, I'll defer that till later. This board did make a promise. You do make promises. You made a promise 5 years ago that if a referendum passed, that North Charles Avenue would be a top priority and reconstructed as promised. It has not been fulfilled. I'm calling you out on it, and I'm asking you to make it a priority in 2021. Also at that meeting, I was told that capital expenditures continue with technically dedicated funding, such as the water tower repainting, saying those funds were dedicated and set aside specifically for the repair, maintenance, and upkeep of water service, whether, you know, water treatment, providing water services to the community, the infrastructure. Well, part of the Charles project is water infrastructure. Replacing the water main on North Charles Avenue, I think, falls under that realm of those dedicated funds. So I'm not buying what you're selling. I'm here again for a third time to ask that this board commit to funding and executing the project as promised 5 years ago of reconstructing North Charles Avenue. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
No, we have no one else.
Anyone else out in the audience, manager? Okay. All right, we'll move on to the clerk's report.
Yes, I just wanted to give some information to those individuals who want to be candidates for the consolidated election on April 6, 2021. And just so they know that the filing date is December 14 through the 21st. And the 14th is a Monday, and I will be here in the office Monday when the office opens at 9 a.m. So that's when the first time that anybody can come in with their packets. And then that goes through Monday the 21st. And that'll be Monday the 21st to 5 p.m., the closing of the village, the regular hours. And that's just information for the candidates next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, trustees report. We'll start with Trustee Murphy.
Thank you. I just have one tonight. I'd like to shout out to the library with a specific thank you for, I believe it was the library in conjunction with perhaps some of our other groups or clubs that facilitated the free flu shots today. Our family really appreciated it, and I would very much like to see that continue on an annual basis. It was a wonderful success, and our family is very grateful to them for facilitating those shots. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Kazal?
Just a couple things. One thing is we have Veterans Day coming up on Wednesday, the 11th, and would you like to give a big thank you to all of our veterans over the years, especially in a contentious year like we've had this year. We still have to remember we've got our freedom from all our veterans, those who gave the ultimate sacrifice and those who are still with us. But thank you for your service to all of our veterans. And kind of dovetailing on what Mr. Smith said, this is going to be a celebration at the VFW this Wednesday at 11 o'clock. And I think they're going to try and do a little service for Sid Berg. And I don't know how that's going to go. Maybe President Baltus or Major Keener will know if they're going to be able to go ahead with that now that we're in the lockdown again. But that's Wednesday at the VFW on St. Charles. The Economic Development Commission will be meeting Wednesday, the 18th of November. That will be done by Zoom. So if you can look at the website if you want to attend it. And as usual, we're always looking for members of the commission. And Thanksgiving is coming up, and the annual Dan Gibbons Turkey Trot will be going. It will be held virtually this year online. It's going to be kind of a cool setup, but information can be found at dangibbonsturkeytrot.com to sign up, and you can download an app onto your phone, and it will give you all the information on what you need to do. And that's all I got.
Okay. Trustee Ciala?
I also would like to thank our vets with this upcoming Veterans Day for all they've done. Can't ask for more than it's that much people. I also would like to take a moment to apologize for my electronic difficulty this evening. It's caused any problems for anybody out there. I apologize.
Okay. Trustee Tucker?
I just also would like to ranch on everyone else and thank our veterans. And that if you're able, and it does go through at the VFW, they always put on a good celebration for our veterans and in honor of them, if you can make it, and it does go effect, I would recommend going to that. I also want to point out that the Park and Rec Commission meeting is tomorrow at 7 o'clock. It is online, basically, but you are able to join us at Iowa School if you have a question, or Iowa Center if you have a question or something that you are interested in bringing out to the Park and Rec Commission.
Okay, Trustee Patrick?
Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to thank our first responders that are out there, especially during these times. With COVID going around, they have a lot on their plate. They've been doing an outstanding job, and I just wanted to let them know to keep up the good work. Second, this week is Veterans Day. If you do know a veteran out there, please let them know how much you are thankful for their service. As a veteran myself, it's really appreciated. And if you are a veteran, from my family to yours, thank you for your service. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Wagner? You're muted, Bob.
There we go. I just want to thank the Environmental Concerns Commission. They held a pumpkin smash this Saturday, and I want to thank all the residents. And we also had plenty of non-residents bring their pumpkins in to be composted. And I think we probably had a record collection this year. So I want to thank everyone for that. The Traffic and Safety Commission will be meeting this Wednesday, not Tuesday, but Wednesday, November 11th at 8 p.m. at Village. Well, it'll be virtual, but someone will be at Village Hall as well. And then the Environmental Concerns Commission and the Pedestrian and Transit Subcommittee will be meeting virtually, and someone will be at Village Hall on Thursday, November 19th. Lastly, I just want to let residents know that the county is sponsoring a household hazardous waste collection this coming Saturday, November 14th, from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. This will be at the DuPage County campus. You can enter off of County Farm Road. They'll be collecting all kinds of household hazardous waste. They will not be collecting ammunition, fireworks, radioactive material, but a whole variety of things. If you go to the county website, you can find them. And that's all I have.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I like to, I have a couple veterans in my family. So luckily, they came back not physically scarred from Vietnam. We had, everybody's right. We have to remember these veterans who risked their lives for us, and we really need to give them a big thank you. And Thursday at the VFW, we're going to special for Sid Berg. And there are some new regulations. We'll have to see how the VFW handles those, which go in effect on Wednesday morning at 12:01. I also want to give you a little update on what I found out today from the DuPage County Health Department. And unfortunately, our COVID positivity rate continues to go up quite quickly. As of this afternoon, I got a new email. Our positivity rate is up to 13.7, which is earlier today it was 13.3, and on Saturday it was 12.9. So it continues to rise rather quickly. The hospital admissions are also going up. The board members Manager Keeter sends us a little chart with what's going on with the hospital admissions and the positivity rates. As right now, there's the 20% of the surgical beds are available right now, and that number's been going down. Right now it's 23. It goes down to 20%. Then the hospitals have to make some modifications in elective surgeries. So it's getting awful close to getting it where they have to cut back on their elective surgeries because they need the beds for COVID patients. So, there's only one way apparently that we're going to stop this for a while, is that everybody wears your masks. You may feel well, but you may still be positive because it takes a few days before the actual symptoms show up. So I know it's inconvenient and some of us don't like to wear them, but do it for your neighbor and for your friends and the people you meet. Wear the mask. That's the only thing we have right now. Wash your hands and watch your distance. They're recommending that you increase your distance now when you go out from 6 foot to a little bit farther. So we're now going to be in the tier 2. Some of the major changes are if you go to any outdoor seating, they're going to have to space out the tables more. Limit the number of people at the tables. It was at 10. They're going to have to limit it down to maybe 6. So hopefully, if we all wear our masks and maintain our distance, we can get these numbers down again. But the neighboring states are not doing well at all. So we're not getting a whole lot of help there. One thing about, like I said, you're wearing your mask, you think you're okay, you don't have to, but the statistics show that people just walking around now, we're almost up to 40% of the people you bumped into may be positive. They're saying now between 40 and 50%. That's why they're encouraging everybody to wear their masks. So we have to lower those numbers. The largest increase of infected people that they're showing up on the test are 20 to 39-year-olds. That's going up like a rocket. And right behind them, almost the same, the 40 and 59-year-olds. So that's why they hit onto the bars and Halloween parties. They feel that those are the type of thing that gatherings that make the numbers go up. So please, 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 watch your distance, wear the mask, and hopefully we can get this behind us in some way. They said today there's a vaccine that might be out by the end of the year, but the regular population isn't going to be prioritized on that. They're going to start with first responders and people in the hospitals. I heard a doctor from the Central DuPage Hospital say of this first batch of vaccines, they're going to get for their staff and for their doctors 2,000 inoculations. It doesn't even cover not even half of their staff. So it'll be a while before we get it for the general population. So just please, 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 everybody wear your masks. So that's the only thing we have right now, and it's proved that it does work. Okay, we'll move on then to the manager's report. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe everything was covered this evening, and I'll pass.
Okay, and after that, we have a motion to adjourn. Trustee Wagner.
I'll make that motion.
Have a second? Trustee Kazone.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, with that, we're adjourned. See you on the 23rd of November for our next meeting.
Good night, everybody. Stay safe,
Good night.
please.
You too. Thank you. Good night.
Your mask.